Hi once again, everyone. It is Eric here with Weather for Weather Geeks. A fresh work week. It's the final work week of summer, astronomical summer anyway. Autumn begins in less than a week now. On Sunday, autumn will officially get underway here in the northern hemisphere, and the last week of summer will feature some, well, pretty summer-like weather, with the exception, of course, of today. Today was a cool and clammy day, and rain, once it got going this morning, really didn't let up in a lot of spots until early evening. These are some rain gauge numbers at our downtown studios, 0.52. About 3/4 of an inch, fairly common across the 224 corridor in Mahoning County. Amounts, as expected, a little higher off to the south. 1.05 New Waterford, East Palestine area. 1.03 Guilford Lake, Lisbon area. Alliance, about 0.84. And definitely, as you got south and east of our TV viewing area, amounts did start to get quite a bit higher. So everything went pretty much according to plan today. We never expected this to be a real big deal today. This is, of course, the moisture from Florence, which is a tropical depression and starting to accelerate to the north and east. But we never anticipated any problems around here from the moisture from Florence. As you can see, when I recorded this a little after 7, already starting to dry things out around Youngstown and points north and west. South and east of town still raining lightly as of a little after 7 o'clock this evening. When we look at the radar loop across the region, of course, this is our circulation. This is a much weaker system than it was. And the severe weather threat continues for a time this evening. A tornado watch was up when I recorded this a little after 7. And for good reason. Some confirmed tornadoes earlier today around the Richmond, Virginia area and eastern parts of Virginia. I saw some pretty dramatic video of some destruction around that area from some tornadic activity earlier on today. Well, Florence was a well-forecasted storm. Everything went pretty much according to plan in the grand scheme of things. Some local variations, of course, but this, of course, is North Carolina. This is South Carolina, and the southeastern part of North Carolina got it worst when it came to the rain. Off the scale here. I mean, start getting into these colors, that's 10, 15 inches. Then once you get into the white, that's not even covered in the scale. There were some places that got 25, 30, 32 inches of rain. And bad flooding problems extended west towards the Charlotte area, even backing up against the mountains of North Carolina. There were some problems over the course of the weekend. Unfortunately, I think the fatality total is up over 20 now. I think 22 is the last I saw. And some real tragic scenes, not only for humans, but for pets as well. A lot of pets had to be rescued. Some people left their pets behind, and it's a very sad situation when we see those sorts of video photos and video footage. It's real bad. All right, big picture back here at home for Tuesday. 81, a warmer day coming up tomorrow. Definitely above average, which is 72. About 12 hours and 20 minutes worth of daylight. We're losing 2 minutes and I believe 45 seconds worth of daylight per day now as we approach the equinox here in 6 days. All right, here goes Florence, getting off the playing field fairly quickly tomorrow, heading over towards the East Coast. I think a much different day is in store for tomorrow. I think there'll be some sun. It's going to be steamy. It's going to be humid. I think Wednesday is going to be shape up to be a pretty similar day. A good deal of sunshine. Temperatures running about 8-9 degrees above the average, with somewhat elevated dew points as well. By September standards, it's pretty muggy. Now, by July standards, not really. I mean, I think dew points will probably back off into the low to mid-60s Wednesday. That's kind of muggy by September standards. All right, by the end of the week, though, as this warm front lifts off to the north, we'll really get into the warm air for Thursday and Friday. I've got 84 Thursday and 86 in the forecast for Friday. I think as we head towards Friday, our forecast challenges start creeping back in, though, because, well, we've had a pretty good streak of weather for high school football so far this season. Our streak may come to an end this week, though, with the timing of this front. Showers and thunderstorms probably becoming likely during the second half of the day on Friday and into parts of Friday night. And then the forecast for the weekend is tricky. This front's going to stall somewhere. If it stalls far enough south, we'll have a nice weekend. If it just meanders a little farther north, we could be stuck in some clouds and maybe even some rainy periods over the course of the weekend. This is the GFS model I'm showing you right here, but there are varying model solutions, and so we don't have a real good handle on the weekend situation just yet. It's going to be a little touch and go, I think, for a few days until we start getting some consistency with the computer modeling, because 75 to 100 mile difference on where this front ends up setting up will make a lot of difference when it comes to our weekend weather around here. Could be a pretty nice weekend, could be not so nice as well. Dew points will be elevated through the end of the week, upper 60s generally. Might take a little dip on Saturday with those dew points dropping if that drier air can make enough a far enough south push. Dew points might start to come up again then as we go into Sunday and early next week. Now, this is the 8 to 14 day outlook. Not a very cool looking weather map, right? Above average temperatures fairly likely across the Ohio Valley and down into the southeast. But the thing you have to keep in mind, when we show you these maps that have all this orange and red on it, we're getting into the time of the year that doesn't mean it's going to be in the upper 80s. Because our averages are dropping fairly quickly, of course. We're losing a degree off our averages every few days now. A couple of days ago, our average dropped to 73. Now it's at 72. It'll drop to 71 in another couple of days, and by the end of the month, our average high is 66. So when you see a map that has a lot of orange and red on it, at this time of the year, that could mean a lot of days with temperatures in the 70s. Not necessarily the kind of warmth we're going to have later this week. So averages are dropping quickly at this time of the year, making those temperature anomaly maps somewhat deceptive if you're not keeping up on the changing averages as we go into our transitional season. Same thing happens back in spring. Average highs rise so quickly once you get into March and early April that sometimes you lose track. Oh, wow, it's supposed to be in the 50s at this time of the year. And the reverse is true, or not the reverse, but the same is true at this time of the year, except we're not talking 50s. We're talking averages in the upper 60s to around 70. That's it for tonight's Weather for Weather Geeks. I'll have another update tomorrow. Same time, same place here on Weather Geeks. You can get that forecast anytime on the Storm Tracker 21 app.